So, what is love? And specifically, the definition of love. Now, in modern times, that word's been used, but the definition has been completely off. For example, there's like a song, there's a K-pop song. It's like, "What is love?" Another song that's quite older. It's "What is love? Baby, don't hurt me no more." Um, so in like modern times, we kind of like lose um, that definition of what love actually really means. And love, it's not sin. Definitely not sin. Like the demonic LGBTQ, that whole narrative will say, love is love. Love is not sin. Adultery, fornication, homosexuality, that is all sin, and that is not love. You need to be married, uh, and married sacramentally in the Catholic Church in order for that to be a valid marriage. And the reason that is because it takes 9 months to get married. So if you and your wife, a man and a woman, um, to just completely clarify, a man who has biologically a man and biologically a woman, biologically a man who has a penis, just to make it very blunt, and biologically a woman who has a vagina, just to put it very blunt about what marriage is. And it being 9 months, and it's 9 months of preparation, 9 months of thinking about marriage, because it's a lifelong commitment. Nowadays, because mostly people have turned away from church and turned away from God, um, that's been out of the question. And the divorce rate being so high, like 50% of all marriages end in divorce, which is horrible. Uh, Marriage is supposed to be lifelong. Um, that's what it's intended to be. A marriage is supposed to be lifelong. Um, Basically, there's only really one caveat: is if your partner passes away, or if your partner is unfaithful. That's the really only two ways you get out of marriage. But it's supposed to be a lifelong commitment. You're supposed to be committed to this person. Grow old together, hopefully. And I like as most people take their vows, through health, through good times and bad times, you'll be with this person. In good health and bad health, and it's lifelong. Um, but as far as the definition of love and what uh, the Christian definition of love and how Jesus defined it, it's really suffering for someone else. That's what love is. It's suffering for someone else. Because in this world that we're in, when everything's going great, you're making so much money and you have the best life, the best friends, you're happy and everything's going correct, it's easy to love. It's easy to love someone else. It's easy to get along with other people. But it's when everything goes wrong, when you feel alone, you don't feel heard, you're annoyed, you didn't sleep the night before, all these other different circumstances, that's when it becomes difficult to love. And it's in suffering, when you choose to love someone else, that's where it's powerful. That's where it means a lot. And specifically with Jesus, on the cross, basically being tortured and killed to death. In order for humanity, that is what love is. Suffering for someone else. And so I was thinking about this today, but there's a saying, Vivo Cristo Rey, which is love God as God has loved you. Love as God has loved. Which is so beautifully and simply put, but it's just, you can ponder on that. And it's more than just being kind to someone. It's definitely more. It's suffering for another human being, Of course, being present when they're talking, being kind, etc., that's secondary, but it's definitely more just suffering for someone else. Whether that be if you're a parent and you're waking up early to go to work so you can provide for your family and they can have a better future, that's love. You're suffering waking up early and you're going to work and you're suffering in order to make a living for your family, that is love. So it's not just, it's enduring, just to put it simply. Love is enduring suffering for someone else. And the reason it is for someone else and not yourself is because if you endure suffering and you gain from that just selfishly and for yourself, it's not really love, because you're doing it for a selfish motive. And so many people, they really only care about themselves, and they'll work hard, very hard, make a lot of money, do all these things just for themselves so they can feel good or whatever. And then that's great. You should better yourself. I'm not saying that's wrong, but what I'm saying that the true definition of love is enduring suffering for someone else. And so something good to ponder, think about that. And so God bless.